There's something the Canadian beer industry doesn't want you to know. It's not on the label, Health Canada doesn't test for it, and the two corporations that control 85% of the market have spent billions making sure you never ask questions. I'm talking about glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup weed killer in virtually every major Canadian beer brand. I'm talking about hormone disruptors leaching from can linings that Europe banned 2 years ago, and I'm talking about fish-derived fining agents that vegetarians are drinking without any warning. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is documented contamination that regulatory agencies are ignoring while foreign corporations extract billions in profit. I'm about to expose 7 brands you need to stop buying immediately, show you the test results they don't want you to see, and give you 2 Canadian alternatives that are actually clean. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the beer aisle is the biggest scam in Canadian retail. Let's start with brand number 1, Molson. The Molson family, who founded this brewery in 1786, who ran it for 219 years, gave up control to foreign shareholders, and they kept selling you Canadian nationalism while profits went to Chicago. But the deception goes way deeper than ownership. Molson Canadian is made from Canadian water, prairie barley, and no preservatives. That's what they tell you. Here's what they don't tell you: that prairie barley is contaminated with glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup weed killer. In 2019, USPIRG tested popular beers for glyphosate contamination. While they didn't test Molson Canadian specifically, they tested Coors Light, brewed by the exact same company using the exact same Western Canadian barley. The result? 25.1 parts per billion of glyphosate. Glyphosate was classified by the World Health Organization in 2015 as a probable human carcinogen. In 2018, a California jury awarded a groundskeeper $78 million after finding that Roundup gave him terminal cancer. Bayer has paid out over $10 billion to settle more than 100,000 lawsuits. Every time you drink a Molson Canadian, you're consuming trace amounts of a chemical that's been linked to non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Research shows glyphosate disrupts your gut microbiome at concentrations as low as 0.1 parts per billion. 25 parts per billion is 250 times that threshold. You're drinking this because Canadian farmers spray glyphosate on barley fields right before harvest to dry the crops faster. It's called pre-harvest desiccation. But wait, it gets worse. If you're drinking Molson Canadian from a can, you're also getting BPA, bisphenol A, a hormone disruptor that leaches from the plastic lining inside aluminum cans. BPA mimics estrogen in your body. It's been linked to fertility problems, obesity, diabetes, and increased cancer risk. In 2023, the European Union reduced its safe exposure limit for BPA by 20,000 times. And in January 2025, the EU banned BPA in all food contact materials. Canada? We kept the old standards. Health Canada still uses exposure limits from 2015, a full decade behind European science. Let's do the math. If you drink a 6-pack of Molson Canadian every week, you're consuming approximately 60 micrograms of BPA weekly. That's 3,120 micrograms per year. The EU's new safe limit? 5.1 micrograms per year. You're exceeding European safety standards by 612 times. Molson Canadian, made from Canada, owned by America, contaminated with pesticides and hormone disruptors that Europe won't tolerate. Every pint you buy sends profits to Chicago while poisoning your body with chemicals Canada refuses to regulate properly. This is brand number 1, and it only gets worse from here. Brand number 2, Labatt Blue, the blue-collar choice, the beer you drank after a hard day's work. Founded in 1847 in London, Ontario by John Kinder Labatt, for 148 years it stayed in Canadian hands. Then, in 1995, a Belgian company called Interbrew paid $2.7 billion to buy Labatt. The Blue Jays were sold off. The broadcasting assets were stripped and sold. But the consolidation didn't stop there. In 2004, Interbrew merged with Brazilian brewer Ambev, creating InBev. In 2008, InBev bought Anheuser-Busch for $52 billion. And in 2016, AB InBev completed the 3rd largest merger in human history, a $107 billion acquisition of SAB Miller. Today, Labatt Blue is owned by a Belgian-Brazilian megacorporation headquartered in Leuven, Belgium. The CEO is Brazilian. The profits go to international shareholders, and Canadians keep buying it because they think they're supporting a Canadian brand. The John Labatt Centre in London, Ontario was renamed Budweiser Gardens in 2012. Even the name was sold, But just like Molson Canadian, the ownership betrayal is only part of the story. Labatt Blue uses the same contaminated barley, the same glyphosate residues, the same BPA-lined aluminum cans. But here's where Labatt adds an extra twist. Many traditional lagers brewed by AB InBev use a fining agent called isinglass. Isinglass is collagen extracted from fish swim bladders. It's added to beer to clarify it, and because it's classified as a processing aid under Canadian labeling laws, brewers don't have to tell you it's there. If you're vegetarian or vegan, you've been drinking fish bladders without knowing it. If you have a fish allergy, you've been exposed to a potential allergen with zero warning. Labatt doesn't disclose whether they use isinglass in their Canadian operations, but their corporate siblings in the UK use it extensively. So here's what we know. Labatt Blue is Belgian-Brazilian owned. It's made with glyphosate-contaminated barley. It comes in BPA-lined cans, and it may contain fish-derived processing aids that don't appear on the label. This is the beer that blue-collar Canadians have been loyal to for generations. Every dollar you spend enriches foreign billionaires, while workers in London, Ontario watch their brewery jobs disappear. Labatt employed over 5,000 Canadians before 1995. Today, they employ 3,500. That's 1,500 jobs gone. Brand number 3, Budweiser, the king of beers, is approximately 30% rice. That's not a typo. 3 out of every 10 pounds of grain in your Budweiser is rice, broken rice specifically, the cheap stuff. Anheuser-Busch is America's largest rice buyer, and they use it for one reason. It's 40 to 50% cheaper than malted barley. Rice ferments cleanly and produces alcohol, but it contributes almost nothing to flavor. It's a cost-cutting measure disguised as a recipe. Then there's the beechwood aging. Those beechwood chips are boiled in baking soda before they're added to the beer. This process strips away any flavor the wood might contribute. The chips serve only as a surface for yeast to settle on during fermentation. They do absolutely nothing for taste. It's pure marketing theater to justify charging you premium prices for discount ingredients. When USPIRG tested Budweiser in 2019, they found 27 parts per billion of glyphosate. That's 270 times the concentration shown to affect beneficial bacteria in your digestive system. Oh, and that rice they use? A significant portion is genetically modified. In Canada, Budweiser is brewed by Labatt under license from AB InBev. Same company, same practices, same contamination. You're paying king of beers prices for a third rice, fake aging, and measurable pesticide residues. Brand number 4, Coors Light. The mountains turn blue when it's cold. This might be the most successful marketing gimmick in beer history. Thermochromic ink on the label changes color when the temperature drops, and millions of Canadians think this means something about quality. It doesn't. It's a party trick, a distraction from what's actually in the can. Coors Light is a light beer, meaning lower calories and lower alcohol. It's marketed to the health-conscious, the fitness crowd, the calorie counters, but light is achieved by adding more water and using cheaper grains. The body is thin because there's less malt. The flavor is weak because they've diluted everything to cut costs, and they charge you the same price, or more, than regular beer, despite using fewer ingredients. When USPIRG tested Coors Light for glyphosate, they found 31.1 parts per billion. That's the second highest level of any beer they tested. Higher than Budweiser, higher than most craft beers. You're drinking one of the most contaminated beers on the market, while Molson Coors spends millions marketing a color-changing label gimmick. The mountains might turn blue when it's cold, but your endocrine system turns dysfunctional when you drink enough of this. Brand number 5, Corona comes in a clear bottle. This is a catastrophic choice for beer quality. When ultraviolet light hits beer, it causes a chemical reaction with hop compounds, creating 3-methyl-2-butene-1-thiol, the exact chemical compound in skunk spray. The term for this is light-struck beer, and it's why almost every quality beer in the world comes in brown bottles. Corona knows this. So what does Corona do? They add extra preservatives and stabilizers to compensate for the degradation caused by their defective packaging choice. And that lime wedge? That's not authentic Mexican tradition. That's flavor masking. The citric acid from the lime covers up the skunky off flavors that develop from light exposure. You're paying import prices for chemically stabilized beer in packaging designed to degrade it, with a citrus garnish to hide the damage. Corona is owned by AB InBev, the same Belgian-Brazilian corporation that owns Labatt Blue. When USPIRG tested Corona, they found 25.4 parts per billion of glyphosate. So you're getting pesticide contamination, light-damaged beer, chemical stabilizers, and foreign corporate ownership, all for a 30% markup over domestic brands. Brand number 6. Alexander Keith's. Nova Scotia's beer since 1820. Except it's not Nova Scotia's beer. It's AB InBev's beer. Keith's was founded by a Scottish immigrant in Halifax in 1820. It stayed independent until 1971, when Labatt bought it. And when Labatt was sold to Interbrew in 1995, Keith's went with it. Today, Alexander Keith's is owned by the same Belgian-Brazilian megacorporation that owns Budweiser and Corona. The Halifax brewery still operates, but strategic decisions are made in Belgium. Profits flow to international shareholders, and Maritimers keep buying it because they think they're supporting local heritage. This is what happens when two corporations control 80% of the market. They can buy up regional brands, hollow them out, and sell you nostalgia while extracting wealth. Brand number 7. Kokanee, the Sasquatch beer. Glacier Fresh from British Columbia. Owned by AB InBev. Brewed by Labatt. Same Belgian-Brazilian corporation. Same pesticide-contaminated barley. Same foreign ownership structure. They use BC regional pride and Sasquatch humor to market a corporate product that sends profits to Europe. Kokanee is about as authentically British Columbian as Corona is authentically Mexican. It's all theater. It's all marketing. Do you see the pattern? Two corporations, Molson Coors and AB InBev, control over 80% of the Canadian beer market. Both use the same contaminated ingredients. Both use BPA-lined cans. Both market Canadian identity while extracting billions in profits to foreign shareholders. And Canadian regulations allow all of it. No glyphosate testing, no BPA bans, no requirement to disclose fish-derived fining agents. Health Canada is asleep, and Canadians keep buying because they don't know the truth, until now. Here are two brands that actually deserve your money. Number 1 is Beau's All Natural Brewing. Employee-owned, certified organic, B Corp certified, and explicitly vegan. Based in Van Cleek Hill, Ontario, Beau's uses 100% organic barley, which means zero glyphosate, zero synthetic pesticides, zero GMOs. Their flagship Lug Tread is available across Ontario and Quebec at the same price as Molson Canadian. When workers own the brewery, quality matters. When profits stay with employees instead of foreign billionaires, everyone wins. Number 2 is Moosehead Breweries. Founded in 1867 in St. John, New Brunswick. Still owned by the Olin family after 6 generations. This is the last major Canadian-owned brewery in the country. Not Belgian, not Brazilian, not American. Canadian. If you want proof that Canadian beer can stay Canadian, Moosehead is it. They've resisted buyouts for over 150 years. They deserve your loyalty more than any foreign corporation ever will. 4 corporations control almost every major beer brand in Canada. They've replaced tradition with cost-cutting. They've marketed Canadian identity while sending profits abroad. And Canadian regulations let them hide it all. But now you know, and you can choose differently. Which brand on this list shocked you the most? Drop a comment below. Share this video with anyone who deserves to know what's really in their beer. The truth about what you're drinking matters, and the corporations that lied to you for decades are counting on you to keep ignoring it. Don't let them win.